Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can apply for your Schengen visa all by yourself, and I'm going to be doing a step-by-step video. My name is Fumi and I'm excited to show you how you can apply for your Schengen visa all by yourself. So let's dive into this. What is a Schengen visa? I'm sure you've been hearing Schengen visa, and you're wondering, what is this Schengen visa, Seth? Now let me tell you. A Schengen visa is a visa, one visa that gives you access to like 26 countries. Whoa, how cool is that? So the reason why the Schengen came about is because of a treaty that led to the creation of Schengen areas. Now, this Schengen areas the treaty is mainly to abolish border policies between these countries, meaning if you get into one country that is in the Schengen area, you do not need a visa or to get a border to cross into another country. So it's like access. So if you have one visa, that's why some people think that it's pretty difficult, because it means that if you have access to one of them, you get into all the other 25s. So they need to be pretty strict about who they are letting into their space. So there's a list in the description below of the 26 countries in this Schengen areas, meaning that if you have a visa for one of them, then you can opt and go to the other one. And the way it works is there is no border control. So meaning if you have this visa and you're looking to get into the other one, they'll hardly ever stop to check your passport. So I've been to a couple of Schengen countries by bus from one to the other, and just getting to the bus garage, all I just needed to do was just get off the bus and just go about my daily activities. So it wasn't like, okay, somebody's checking my papers or my documents to see if I have a right to be here, because they believe that if you're already in that space, it means that you qualify, you can enter the remaining states. So if you are one that you're looking to get a lot of stamps on your passport, Schengen is not the way to go, because you're not going to get multiple stamps. All you're going to get is just the initial stamp when you get to the area initially, and not stamps for every country that you visit. I hope you understand that. Now, the first thing I would say that you should know about a Schengen visa is, if you're not sure about your travel plans, don't apply. So Schengen visas are not like visas for other countries that you get and you say, maybe for example you applied sometimes in July, and then maybe in your application you mentioned that you're looking to go end of July, and then you get the visa and then you think, oh, tickets are quite high or expensive in July, I'll do Christmas or I'll do Thanksgiving in November. It doesn't work like that for Schengen visa. The way it works is, if you say that you're going for 7 days and maybe like you're a first timer in that country or you have a fresh passport, trust me, they will give you that 7 days. So if you say you're going from January 10 to 17, they'll probably give you your visa starting from January 9 and to expire on the 18th. So if you're not ready to go, which means that you can't say, oh, I'm going to use it sometimes in March. No, which means if you don't use it then it's all gone. So you have to be sure about your travel plans. But by the time you start traveling, and then you are not just like a first-time traveler, or you just travel every now and then, you become a seasoned traveler, then it starts to get better, especially when you apply via the same country. Then you start to get the 1 month, and then the 3 months, and then it gets to a year and 2, and then you have multiple entries, and then it gets better from there. But initially, it's just the specific time that you have mentioned that your visas will be approved for. Now, the first thing about a Schengen visa, which is the same for any other country you're looking to visit, is to complete this application form. And the application form can be completed online. If you go to countries like Spain or Portugal, you're going to have to complete 2 different application forms, because one will be in English and the other one will be in maybe Portuguese or Spanish. Now, don't get scared. You don't have to fill it in that language. You just fill it out in English form, but the writings or the wordings of the other form is going to be in that language. So that being said, you need to complete your application online, and then just like every other embassy in Nigeria, they use agents. So they use the VFS and then they use the BLS. They have various agents that they use. Today I'm going to be focusing on France. So France uses the VFS. So if you are living in, like me, I live in Ibadan, and then you're living in Akure, the southwest, basically, you have to come down to Lagos to submit this application in Lekki. I don't even know if they have any other place. I think it's just Lekki and in Lagos and in Abuja. I don't think they have in the east or any other area. Find out where you can go online. You can always Google that. Google is your friend. I call it the Oracle. Just go on Google, find out the nearest agent to you, because by the time you go on that website to fill out your visa application form, you would have seen where the agent that is collecting for them, the collecting agent is. Now, this collecting agent, you have to book your appointment date. Once you book your appointment date, some of them would have you pay when you get to the venue, and some will have you pay online. I know Spain asks you to pay online, and I know France, you have to go there with your cash. Not even your bank card or transfer, you have to go with your cash. They will charge a bit too for their processing fees and for handling charges. I don't know how much that is because I haven't done France in a bit, but the visa fees as well, everything will be paid there. And the good news is so exciting is that children under 6, they don't pay for visa. They just, so if you have toddlers and you're looking to enjoy, I beg, take this chance, because children under 6, they don't pay for this visa. Now, the application, like I said, you fill out your visa application form, and then you get online on their website, you have a list of their checklist. So the steps are going to be, you complete your visa application form. I already said that. You provide all of the supporting documents. You go for your submission, and then you wait for your visa. Now, there's a checklist on their website. So the first thing you need to do before you complete this application form is to establish or decide the kind of visa that you need. Are you looking at a tourist visa? Are you going for a conference, a seminar? Is it a family visit? Is it tourism? Is it a student visa? So once this is established, you know exactly what kind of form you need to fill out. But you know, on Travel Talk with Fumi, I basically just talk about visas for tourism purposes only. So today I'm going to be focusing on the tourist kind of application. So once you've established the visa type that you're going to apply for, the next thing is to visit the application portal or their website. I'm going to leave it in the description box as well. Go on the website to fill out the application form. So because like I said, I'm focusing on France today because that's where I've gotten a majority of my Schengen visas from. I'm going to be leaving the link to the website or the portal in the description box below. So if you need to apply through that, you can always click on it. One thing I'll say again before I proceed today is, if you are looking to visit multiple Schengen areas, the country you should be applying at should be where you are looking to spend majority of your time, or where will be your first point of entry. So let's say, for instance, you're looking to go to Ibiza now. It will be better for you to apply through the Spanish embassy and not the French one. And then if you're looking to visit Ibiza and then maybe spend like 5 days there, and looking to go to Paris and spend maybe like 6 days, then you can go through France. But then that means you have to stop in France first. It has to be your first point of entry. But if you're looking to spend maybe like some days in Ibiza, and then after that you're looking to go to France just for like maybe 2 days, then it's better you go through the Spanish embassy. I hope I have made sense with what I just said. So don't get worried. Don't think that the way I just explained now, that if you're going to be applying at the Spanish embassy, it means that you will not be able to get into France. No, that's not the case. But it's just because you'll be spending more time, it's just only makes sense for it to be your first point of entry. But if you rather let another place be your first point of entry, then that's where you should apply at. I always tell, especially if you're not a seasoned traveler, that the embassy that you applied at should be your point of entry. So you have to be careful when you're filling out these forms or when you're making these decisions, because a lot of people just say, oh, Schengen visas are difficult to get. Oh, you never get through the first time, which really, it makes sense. Because honestly, let's check it. It means that you have access to 26 countries. They have to guard themselves. They can't just give out these visas to anyone, because that means if you have access to one country, you have access to the other 25 countries. And that's like handling you 26 countries on a platter. So they need to be sure, they need to screen who is going in exactly. Now, a lot of times I've been asked, should you disclose that you're going to more than one country? By all means, yes. Some people would tell you, oh, just stick to your story and say you're going to a country. So, okay, let's take, for instance, that someone has said, stick to your story. And now you've decided to stick to the story that you're going to France. And then you say you're spending 5 days in France because you need to present an itinerary for the number of days and what you'll be doing in that space for that time. So you present for 5 days and then you get issued a 6-day visa. So what happens? So I always tell people, just disclose. It doesn't mean that the visa won't be granted. No, if you qualify and they feel like you actually do qualify for it, it will be granted. So for me, I remember the first time I got a France visa, I said I was only going to France, and I did only go to France. But then the second time, I said I was going to be spending some time in Paris, and from there I was going to be going to Lisbon and Algarve, which I did. So if you are going to be like me, it doesn't mean that it won't be granted. It does. Even if you go first time, applying for the first time, it doesn't mean that it will affect anything. It's always good to be honest. So if you now say that you're going to be in their space for maybe 10 days or 15 days, it sounds believable, because really, what are you going to be doing in France for 10 days? Especially if you're like me and you're a solo traveler, it doesn't add up. But if you say, okay, yes, you're going and then you're looking to spend maybe 4 days in France, and then by the time you do that, you travel, that's a day break, and then you go to the other country and then you spend how many days again? It adds up that way. So I would just say, just declare in your form that you're going to be visiting more than one Schengen area. So when you visit the portal, you complete the visa application depending on the country that you're looking to go. For France, you just have to fill out one form. I know for Portugal and for Spain, you have to fill out 2 different forms. One is in Portuguese and the other one is in Spanish. Now, don't be scared. It doesn't mean that you have to fill it out in that language. Just fill out the application as you normally would in English, but at least their own wordings and the questions will be in Spanish. That's what I mean. So once you have done that, you filled out all of your application. They ask you the travel date, your itinerary, where you're looking to visit, where you're staying at. Fill out all of that. Now you start compiling your documents. And for a complete one on this, you can just watch my video. I'm going to link it somewhere here for the complete checklist that you need to get a successful visa application. The most important thing I always tell people is your application form, because that's the first thing they would see, so it goes a long way. After that, you need to put your hotel reservation. So the hotel reservation, because they would have asked you where you'll be staying at while in the Schengen area, the hotel that you fill that must be the same as the hotel you put with your documents. So the hotel reservation, and you can do this for free on booking.com. All you have to do is just go and click and look for a hotel that is fully refundable, and you don't have to pay anything now. So you just use it and order it. They just need to see how much it will cost you. Anyway, that's it. So it doesn't matter if your hotel cancels before your application gets out. It's okay. They just want to have an idea of how much you plan to spend and if you can afford it. You also include your flight itinerary. You can get this done on Wakana, on Ajala Travel. Just do your flight reservations to show that you have a flight booked for this. You don't have to pay anything, and just book it out and have the P&L number and all of that. After that, you need a letter of introduction from your job. I talked about this a few weeks back when I did a video about checklists. So yes, a letter of introduction from your job, and if you're self-employed, you write the letter yourself, introducing yourself. Your bank statement showing that you can afford this trip. You need a cover letter or letter of intent to show that, okay, yes, I'm going to this space I'm going to be spending this time, and this is what I plan to do. And anything that you feel doesn't add up, maybe in your statement, you need to mention, maybe you had a huge sum of money coming at a specific time. You can just explain it that on so date, this amount was made for this, and just to explain, and it doesn't look like anything was doctored. So when your employer writes you this letter of introduction, make sure that it has your full name as it is on your passport. Make sure it has your passport number, and then you can even put the dates that you intend to travel, so that it say that you've said that you're looking to travel at this stage. And then you can go a little bit up and say, make them vouch for you, like, okay, this person is actually credible and we can actually vouch for this person. It works, guys. And then if you are self-employed, I said that again, so it's also in that video. Just write a letter on your letterhead, of course, introducing yourself. So if it's a limited liability company, then you can get the board to write a letter introducing you and saying that you owe this position, whatever it is, whatever position it is that you owed. And if it's just a sole proprietorship, then you can write the letter by yourself, introducing yourself, saying I own this company and this is what I do, and then I'm desirous of traveling to this country for a period of time. Then you put the period as well, and of course you'd have to back this up with your incorporation document to show that you actually indeed own this company and is a sole proprietorship. Another document you need to get is your travel insurance. This is super important for your Schengen visas. I don't think you can get a Schengen visa if you don't have a travel insurance. Travel insurance is indeed very important. You can get it from any of the reputable insurance companies in Nigeria. So if you're looking to go for maybe 10 days, you can get a 1 month travel insurance. If you're looking to go for maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you can get a 1 month even, or 3 months travel insurance. It all depends on you. So yes, a travel insurance is really essential. I usually get a 1 year travel insurance. And sometimes I feel like if you're a seasoned traveler, it helps for the validity that your visa will be issued for. I don't know if that is right or wrong, but I've just noticed that for every time that I get a 1 year travel insurance, they tend to give me a 1 year visa, as opposed to the 3 months or maybe the 6 months they would have given. So yeah, I don't know if it was just coincidences for me or it actually works. So yes. One thing I'll say again is when you're getting this travel insurance, make sure that it covers the Schengen area, and then it's a coverage of at least 30,000 euros. I think that's the minimum that they always ask for. So make sure you have at least a minimum of 30,000 euro coverage, and make sure that it covers your stay in the Schengen area. So to finance now your bank statement says a lot. So I have had a number of people come to me saying that, oh, I'm looking to travel. How much do you think I should have in my account? I have like 7 million. Do you think it would do? I have like 10 million. Do you think it would do? It's not about you have 5 million, you have 7 million, you have 2 million. No. What you need to do, which is why they are requesting for your hotel reservation or your flight reservation. They're not dumb. They know that you might not use this hotel, but they just want to have an estimate of what you're looking to spend. So let's say you said you're going for 5 days, and then your hotel is going to cost you maybe like 100 euro per night. Then that means you're looking at 500 euro. Then let's say you're thinking about food, and maybe you're eating street food, and then you want to eat a decent meal. So let's say maybe your hotel comes with breakfast, so that's one food out of the way. And then maybe you want to eat one more time that day or twice. It might be street food, it might be a restaurant. So let's just put another 50, 60. Let's be safe, let's just put 60 euros per day on food. And then you're looking at 5 days, that's 300 euros sitting there. So if you have the 300 euros to the 500 for your accommodation, that's already 800 euros. Now we're looking at your flight. Let's say that will cost you like, let's say 1,000 euros. And then the 800 you had before, that's 1,800. Now, don't quote me. I'm not telling you this is how much it will cost you. I'm just giving an estimate. I'm just saying perhaps it might be, it might not be. Some people stay in hostels, and for hostels you might be paying like maybe 30, 40 euros per night. So it depends on where you're looking to go. And guess what? There's nothing wrong if you make a reservation for a hostel and you put it in your reservation. They just want to have an idea of how much you have to spend and compare it with what you have in your bank account. So let's say we already have that as 1,800 euros, and then we think about tours. It might not all be free tours. For me, I like the up on and off buses, and I like to visit monuments and historical places. So yes, so let's say my tours are going to cost me, give or take, maybe like another 500 euros. You add that to 1,800, so that's giving you 2,300 euros. So let's say give or take. Okay, you want to get souvenirs for people here, souvenirs here and there, like, okay, for keepsakes. So let's say give or take is going to cost you like 2,500 euros for that trip. Now you check the exchange rate. The exchange rate is what? Maybe 2,000 to a euro. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I'm just giving an estimate. So it means that that trip alone is going to cost you like 5 million. Now, that means you should have a minimum of like 6-7 million sitting in your bank account, because they would want to know that you can afford it. And then if you're in a paid employment, like I was saying to someone a few days ago, it helps because maybe your monthly salary is like a 500,000. So they know that even if you go on this trip and then you spend 4-5 million from maybe the 7-8 million you have in your bank account, give or take in a few days, another 500,000 is going to drop in your account. So they know that, okay, it's not like this person is packing all they have in their bank account to go and spend on a trip, and then they will come back to nothing, because it doesn't make sense. Why would you want to go and spend all you have saved on a 5-day trip and come back to nothing? So that's why I always say that travel history, if you have the habit of traveling, once they check your travel history, it makes it believable that, okay, this person is used to this, so it doesn't seem out of place or weird to say that you're looking to spend 4 million on a 5-day trip. So I always say that, give or take, you should have like a 1.5 or ×2 of what you're looking to spend sitting in your bank account. I don't know if I've made sense with that. So for your hotel, like I said, my go-to is booking.com, and I've never had to pay. I know some people would tell you, oh, you have to pay. If you don't pay for the hotel, they will not give you your visa. I've never had to pay, and I've always gotten my visa issued. So yeah, you don't have to pay. Booking.com is your go-to. Just go to booking.com. So long as when you are making that booking, you book a hotel that says it's refundable, and then that you don't pay anything now. So for now you pay nothing and it's fully refundable. So look at it very well. When they say refundable, make sure you click on it to check, because sometimes it's partially refundable and not fully refundable. So you check and then make sure that you're aware of the dates. Sometimes they have like a day before your arrival, sometimes they have a week, and sometimes they have like 10 days. So make sure you check and you don't get carried away and then not cancel that reservation if you need to cancel, and then you find yourself having to pay for a hotel that you might not even want to stay at. So for me, like I said, I always use booking.com. I'm a Genius member on booking.com, so, and it's not because I'm a Genius member. So even if you are not a member, you just register, you can still book without paying. One thing I will say again is, when you're doing your hotel reservation, make sure that the hotel you're going to be staying at is close to the tours that you have filled out that you're going to be doing. So because it just makes sense. You can't just say that you are looking to go for your tour in Victoria Island or maybe Lekki, going to be staying at the Redeem Camp. It's like the opposite side, or maybe you're staying at Ikorodu. It's too far. So when booking your hotel, make sure you have this in mind, that it's close to all the tourist attraction that you said you'll be visiting, because it only makes sense that you're going to be close to them. I did a lot of trains and I did a lot of walking, and then the up-off bus really did help me. But then you have to bear in mind when you're doing your application that where you're going to be staying should not be too far off from all of this attraction. It doesn't have to be where you're going to tour exactly, but when you're putting that in your application form, make sure you check your map. I always do, to be safe. So make sure you just put it, like, check the distance. Google, like I said, Google is your friend. Just put this place to this place and check the distance and see if it adds up. These are the little things that they check when treating your application that can lead to refusal if you do not pay attention to them. Another thing I get asked is, what about letter of invitation? Do you need someone to invite you? No, you do not. Well, if you have somebody that is legal in the Schengen area that is looking to invite you or is willing to invite you, yes, then by all means, then the person can invite you. But like, it's compulsory? No, because I've been to 18 countries, like I said, in 5 different continents, and I have never, ever used the letter of invitation. I always just use hotel reservation. So, because really, even if I have people in those countries, I'm not looking to go and sit with them. They're not the reason I'm going. I'm going for tourism purposes. No, you do not need a letter of invitation to go to a Schengen area. So I'll just do a quick one on how to write a cover letter. A cover letter, like I said, is just to introduce yourself and saying that it's written by you and saying that you're looking to go for this reason, that reason, and so it's just like your itinerary in that space. So like, you're looking to go to France now. What I usually do is say day 1, arrive in France and checking into my hotel. And then day 2, I can say visit the Eiffel Tower and take a tour. Day 3, I can say visit Champs-Élysées and Arc de Triomphe, and then from there. And maybe day 4, spend the day at the Louvre Museum and then use the upper bus. It's just really your itinerary. And then if you're looking to go to another Schengen area from there, you can say maybe day 5 or day 6, do this, do that. And then, sometimes I'll just say day 6, take the rest of the day off, pack my bags, get souvenirs, and ready to depart. And then I go like day 7, return or catch my flight back to Nigeria. It's just as simple as that. I'm going to do a video on that later, or maybe a small tutorial on that, on how to do a cover letter or letter of intent. But it's just as easy as that, really. So when you have all of these documents ready, the next thing to do is select your appointment date on the website, and then you show up on that day. I've said this before in one of my former videos, but I'll say it again. Make sure your passport has at least 6 months validity from the date that you intend to travel, and make sure it has at least 2 blank pages so that your visas can be affixed. And then for passport photograph, just go to the submission center and just take the passport photograph there. They have the correct specification, so you don't need to bother your head about anything. And then I always say that for me, because I like to plan and I love time to be able to do things, I always say that maybe apply like 3 months before you intend to travel. 2 months is fine, but I would stick with 3 months before you intend to travel, because this application can take like 21 days, which is like 3 weeks. So give or take, let's say it takes a month, and then you get it back, your visa is approved, and then you start looking to buy tickets, and it's close to your travel date, and then tickets have gone up, it's so expensive, you don't know what to do, and you just have a 7 days visa approved. So it puts you under a lot of pressure. So I like to do 3 months. So if I do 3 months before I intend to travel, which means that if my application comes back after a month, I still have 2 months to be able to plan and buy my tickets and do so many other things. So yes, it's always easier that way. Now, when you've done this submission, you pay the required fees at the different centers. So visa collection centers have different fees. So it all depends on the one that you're going to. When you've paid all of these fees, I think you subscribe to maybe email or SMS alert, and it shows you the process of your application, and you can always track that online as well. And then once your decision has been made, your application approved, then you can take your trip from there. I think that's all basically. I hope I haven't missed out anything on this, but I think that's about it. And that will be all from me today. Till next time, take care and bye bye.